Hi, and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
I just realized our centerpiece is a little bit off-center. It's not. It's our off-center piece.
Well, I never know where to set it, so.
We're a changing entity. Welcome back. It is almost the end of January. Cannot believe that. And wow, yeah, it's been a big week. So, are you going first today?
Yeah.
All right, Beth's going first. I'm gonna start knitting.
So this week, I have been working on the bear, which is one of my WIP-GO pieces. I think, yeah, I had started it last year sometime, and I had just done the little beginning fronds because I started here in the left corner. So I had just done like this, some of this cat-fill stuff. So I think I showed it last week. I worked on it, and I had a few more days to go. So I hit my goal like maybe Wednesday or something. But so I did a lot more on this bear. So I did his arm. He's holding his toes. So I did his arm.
He's like Baloo.
Yeah, and I started down. This is the edge of the pattern over here, his back or whatever. So, yeah. So I did 7 days on the bear. It's hard to see because it's all wrinkly, but yeah. And yeah, I did part of this curly Q down here in this darker color. So he's coming along. There he is. But I did hit 7 days on that, so I don't know if I don't think I'll have more time this month to do more on it. And then, so since I hit the goal on that, I was working on this owl trio somewhere. Oh, here's the picture. It's a dimensions kit by Jennifer Nielsen, is the designer. These little owls. So this is for my sister-in-law Rachel, and I got the lower this owl basically finished. There's backstitching and colonial knots to put all over there, but I did the branch, and I did. This leaf needs there's one little empty square there that needs a black stitch. I did one, where's the other one? Here, I think this one has the black stitch. Each of these leaves, there's like 3 leaves up here on the top, and they each have a single black stitch to be like at the end of, I guess, how leaves have a vein in them. So at the end of the vein, they have a black stitch. So these two need the black stitch on them, but this one hasn't. And then this is the beginnings of another owl here. So it's not going to be done by the 29th, which is day after tomorrow. So, but it's coming along. So that is Owl Trio by Dimensions. And then, so for next month, since it's almost February, I have a whole bunch of things in the offing. So the WIP-GO calls were done on the 25th, which was, day before yesterday? Day before yesterday? I don't know. What's today?
Today's the
27th. Yeah. So, yeah, they were done on the 25th. And and also I'm doing winter cross stitch camp. So that's my other plan. Do I have that here? Yes, I do. Okay. So let me do that first. Winter cross stitch camp. I think I mentioned before that I'm doing. It's a tiny modernist pattern. I have the other two, Mouse's Day at the Beach and Mouse's Lucky Day. And this one is Mouse's Christmas decorating. I think I showed this last time. But I'm going to be doing it on this blue fabric, which it's a linen, I think it's 28 count linen. 28 or 32, I don't know, but it's very wobbly. So ordinarily I would start in the center, but I think I'm going to start in the upper left-hand corner so I can use the corner gauge and just start, because this fabric is a little bit big. It's bigger than I need, but it's very wobbly. And last time I used it for something, and I was, trying to cut it, and it would I think, okay, I think I've got it straight. And then I would measure it and like draw a little line sort of, and then measure it again. And it was like, no, that's not straight. And it was this fabric is just,
It's really stretchy.
it's just, stretchy and wobbly. So I think I'm just gonna give myself give my corner gauge and find a corner and go from there and not worry about cutting it to size or anything like that. But so this is all, and I did get the Weeks Dye Works colors for it. So I have all those set aside. And then, so my WIP-GO calls, I have as my secondary calls, oh shoot, and I had my WIP-GO chart and I don't remember. Okay, so my main WIP-GO call and secondary WIP-GO call. So my secondary one, the numbers were 3 and 24, I believe. Yeah, 3 and 24 are the WIP-GO numbers for February. And so I think number 3, my secondary call is just, I just have rabbit on there. I don't have a specific month, but I just was looking in my rabbit pouch, and this is August. No, this is, I don't have the right pattern, sorry. I believe this is December. This is December. Huh?
Oh, the
rabbit. Wait, hold on one second. Yeah. So this is the December rabbit, I believe. It has I have very little done on it. Just a couple of rabbits and I think it's a holly leaf that's on there. And I have several rabbits in this. Yeah, this is it. Sorry. So this is the December pattern for Rabbit. There's these little dark bunnies, and then like a holly leaf and berries. And so I just had like a very minimal start on it. So I want to work on that one and get further along. Sorry, this is August. It goes back in. So that's my February rabbit secondary pick, and I don't know which is which, but one of my main pulls is the beaver. And I worked on, last time I worked on this, I got just the branch across the top. Didn't actually get any, yeah, this is right. Yeah. I got just the branch across the top and didn't actually get to the beaver himself. But, so I'm hoping, to do that this coming month. And then my other main call is, it's a dimensions kit called Mama Cat. It's this little cat in a babushka, and she's wearing glasses. And it's just a really cute thing. And so last time I worked on it, I think might have been, if this might have been one of my mania picks. I think a lot of the stuff that's on my WIP list, of my WIP-GO thing, where mania starts. So right here, this is just the beginnings of the cat's face. This is her like nose and mouth, and then part of the scarf that she's wearing. So just again a minimal start. And this came in the kit came with this is, I think it's 14 count Aida, but it's green, And on the
Did
pattern,
you dye it green or it came?
no, it came green. Yeah. On the pattern, there's like a faint like leaf pattern in the background here. So, besides the main body of the cat, so there's that. And then my secondary WIP-GO call for that number is out of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. This is the winter Christmas 2020 magazine, and there's a picture of it back here. This is by Cecilia Turner of Heart and Hand. So she did this series of designs. So I've stitched the autumn owl etching. I think I did it for Rachel.
Oh yeah.
And then for my dad, I did summer catch etching, which was
fishes.
like 3 fishes. Yeah. And then there's 2 others. There's I think a spring one that I can't remember off the top of my head. And then this one is winter cardinal etching.
It's really pretty.
They're really pretty, yeah.
When you said Heart and Hand, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the song in Dirty Dancing when they're doing the end like ceremony and they're singing that song Hearts and Hands and Hearts or whatever. Sorry, and my brain went wee.
Yeah. So this one I have the trees are done in sticks and twigs, and the cardinal itself is done in cherry cobbler, and the name cherry cobbler sounds familiar to me, so I think I might have it.
Isn't that what you did those birds in?
Could be.
You are very fascinated by color name, by thread color names. I've noticed, like, you really like that.
But
I bought fancy floss just because I like the color.
yeah, I have a couple that I saw. Actually, I bought by color because I was buying fancy floss for something there at the attic, and there were colors that were sitting there that I thought, ooh, that's really pretty. Like I think that's how I bought Paris green.
I know, but I think you just sometimes just like the name.
But yeah, there's one I can't remember the name of it now, but it had like some fancy name, and I just thought
that's a cool name.
Yeah, so I bought it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
But I was gonna say I think I have cherry cobbler, but
I'm pretty sure that's the color you used for that gathering berries.
It could be that, or it could be that one could be Bing cherry.
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, because I was just like looking through my my thread just now, and if I have cherry cobbler, it's in one of my project bags. What's some project I'm working on. But I think.
Do you think, Beth? Can I ask you? Before we started filming, Eve was like, "You have so many projects on your WIP-GO board. Do you feel like it's helping you keep track of? I mean, really do significant work, or do you feel like just because you're touching all those projects during the month, or?
Well, it's partly that, because although for this month, the first WIP-GO that I was working on, that seahorse soiree thing, I had that, and I had one of the rabbits, and so theoretically, I could have done more work on rabbit, and snowy reindeer was the other one.
Yeah.
So I could have done more work on those. I hadn't. But part of it was that I wanted to do this owl trio thing, because if I hadn't done this owl trio, I could have done more work on any of those projects.
Right. Well, I guess because I'm thinking those walk in the woods or whatever those are called.
The year in the woods.
Year in the woods, like to really focus on one a month instead of whatever you're doing. What are you doing? 2 or something?
Well, I do 2 WIP-GO calls.
I see.
So the year in the woods.
I'm just wondering,
she does 2 WIP-GO calls, but she has 3 things on each of her WIP-GO.
No, 2. Just 2 this year. 2 on each square.
Don't you also have an FFO? No.
Not this
I
year.
didn't
Last
put
year was
FFOs.
FFOs.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like why, like just so that you get to more things, or
Yeah,
or,
I know some people who have like a bazillion FFO, I mean a bazillion whips, and so they don't necessarily do WIP-GO, but they you know their daily goal or whatever is to touch each of their whips.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily do X number of days on each one, but it just depends
Right.
on and so the thing about WIP-GO is that it's helping me to at least touch those. For I set a goal for 6 or 7 days, and with having a main project and the secondary project, then I only have a goal of 7 days on the main one,
I see.
and then I have no goal on the secondary one.
Oh, okay.
So as long as I do the 7 days on the main one, then I can do however many days, and that's only 7 days is only 14 out of the month.
Uh-huh.
So I've got some leeway to play with
To start new projects.
Hopefully not. But actually, my secondary whips, in some cases, like this winter cardinal,
Yeah.
it's a new start.
Yeah.
So some of them are new starts, and some of them are
like
this rabbit,
like-
ongoing.
Just a way to kind of touch more at once rather than like really working on finishing things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I ideally I would love to finish something, but since my goal is only 7 days, I think like last year I had a couple of projects where the goal was to finish, because they were close to being done. Like Karma Chameleon, I think is by Tiny Modernist is on my WIP-GO list, and I think the goal for that is to finish it because it's very, very far along. It's probably at least 3/4 of the way through it, and it's very small too. So it just needs some attention, but otherwise I think I could ideally I could go ahead and finish it. So it just depends on how the WIP-GO roll goes. I think that is me.
Who's going next?
You go next.
Okay. Oh, good. Hang on. I gotta
put a thread.
I gotta put a thread. Hold on. I just have to. I got to a stopping point. I don't want my stitch marker to fall off. Hold on. Okay. So. Okay, Musselburgh hat is probably in the exact same place because I cast on Hannah's sweater. So I'm not going to show you the Musselburgh hat. It's the same. You can go look at it last week. And last week I was doing Tim's second sock. I finished them. I have not gotten to Virginia's socks yet, but I will do that this week and then send those off. So Tim's socks are done. I cast on Hannah's sweater.
You really do need to start a channel called Tim's Second Sock.
Tim's second
That's
sock.
just too,
Oh, the consensus of all the things was.
Yes,
you
I
really-
have, the people have spoken, and I have decided I think I will go ahead and start a knitting channel.
And you don't have to do it every week.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know. I'm still, so this week my life went a little sideways, but I'm like, when do I want to do it? What day would I publish it? When could I record? Like, when would be easiest? Because my full-time job and everything else. But anyway, so watch this space and I'll let you know. But I think I'm going to do it. Thank you for your support. That made me feel a lot better. Like, no one's going to listen to me talk about knitting. But, and then I was just thinking, like,
broadcasting in the blind.
one of our viewers so sweet said, do like videos on how to knit, and I was like, I'm gonna have to have one of those disclaimers, like, this is not medical advice. Like,
not to be used as a medical device.
I feel confident I can teach you to knit, but I feel
well,
like
hey, we work toward your master knitter thing.
yeah.
You know,
I feel
practice.
like I feel confident I can teach anyone to knit, but I also like there are so many really great teachers out there that it intimidates me. But I know everyone has their own corner of the world, and actually, I think the way that I, in particular, knit is actually very fast and pretty consistent. So, anyway, I am going to be starting that soon. But as promised, I did cast on Hannah's sweater. Here is a photo of the, it's called Genevieve's graduation cardigan, and it is in my knit companion is Hannah's graduation cardigan. And so you start casting on with just the darkest color in a little facing, and then it's very interesting. I'll put a close up here, but you do a line of yarn overs which puts holes in it, but then this black section becomes the facing, and when you turn it at the very end of the cardigan, when you turn up the let's see, I'll put it here in front of my face, you can see it has like a little picot edge. See on my forehead? And this black part turns up and becomes a facing on the inside. And I think it's really ingenious. Look at that. See how it has that edge? Mm-hmm. So I got through the facing, which is the boring part, and then I got to start on the actual pattern. So that's going well. Right now it's just the dark and light. It's the curly Q pattern along the bottom. And I had a terror. So what you do is you knit the facing first.
A terror or
terror? Terror. I was terrified. Because you knit the, hang on. This is all. When you have such a small amount of knitting on needles, it twists around, you know? And because it's all jam crammed on there. So you knit the facing back and forth flat, like a flat piece. But it's only like this big. And then you're supposed to, oh, my yarns are all messed up here. You're supposed to join it. And I think I spoke before about steeking this sweater.
Steek? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Steek, S-T-E-E-K. You join it here in the round with so you have to cast on extra stitches. So see, here's the facing that I made, and then you cast on extra stitches and make this center section. This center section isn't part of the sweater. What you do is once it's all you knit, because normally if you knit a cardigan without steeking, you have to knit one side and then purl the other, going back and forth because you're knitting it basically open and flat. And this technique with Fair Isle, you knit it in the round. So you're just always knitting. You don't have to purl and you don't have to do the color work in purling. But you create this center section here. And then because it's grabby wool, you can just cut it when you're all done. You just cut it straight up. And the wool sticks to itself. And I mean, you reinforce it because you're not stupid, but you reinforce it and then you fold it back on itself. So anyway, when I joined it, it's real important when you join in the round to not twist stitches. And I got about 2, but it's hard because it's all jam crammed. You see how it's like all twisting around the cable and all that. And I was working on it and I'm like, I think this is twisted, and I did 2 rows and it was twisted, and I was like, I don't want to undo this whole thing. I'm gonna be so upset and angry. But so I came through, and actually you could probably see right here at the beginning of the steek, I was like 3 rounds into the joining and I just twisted it. I kind of pulled my needle around and made a little twist right here with the yarn and just made it right, because I'm like, I'm not going to. And I'm like, it's in the steek. It's not in the design. It's on the edge. It's going to get sewn down. I'm not going to worry about it. So that was my fudge. We've had this glitch for this. We just had our glitch for this mission, basically. So
yeah, that means something worse is coming up.
Right, exactly. Right. If you go by Apollo 13. So anyway, that is the cardigan by, what is her name? Let me see here. Her name is, oh, that's weird. I don't have I don't have the. I don't have the. I'll put it right here because I don't have the whole book with me today. But it's from a book called Fearless Fair Isle, Genevieve's graduation cardigan. So that's that. And then the other thing I worked on this week, and I'm going to show because she's going to get it tonight before this video airs. So this is my birthday present for Rachel. It's just the top. Hang on, Beth. I'm going to pull this across.
Yeah.
It's just the... oh, wait. That's the bottom. Sorry. This is just the quilt top. It's directional. This is just the quilt top. But these are t-shirts.
Wait, I don't want to knock over this drink.
Yeah.
These are t-shirts that were my mother-in-law's. And I put sashing and little, what are these called? Sunflowers. In between. And math was very difficult for me, and it was an ordeal. But I think it came out really nicely.
It's beautiful.
So I'm for her birthday, I'm giving her the top and taking it back.
Take it back.
Well, if I can do that to my dad, I can do that to anybody else, right? So, but that way, this is done, and I'm very happy. I
think all of her presents are gives and take backs.
Aw, well, it's okay. It's the thought. Sorry, Rachel.
We'll see who gets
us.
the finished product to her first.
Yeah, you're used to us. But anyway, but happy birthday, Rachel. So.
Well, that's really pretty. That one's really pretty.
Yeah. So I had a lot of trouble with this because t-shirts are so stretchy. You know, how do you cut it and cut the stabilizer to the right size and then cut it to a block size? And it was hard, and it was a lot of brain math. And then because this wasn't a pattern, I had to figure out the measurements for and how to, but Eve, I have never done this before without a pattern, putting in a cornerstone on the corner of the quilt. Mm-hmm. It's not easy because I was like, well, I know
that person on Jordan Fabrics, she has a tutorial on how to do that.
Well, I think, but the problem is that like I didn't go like put it out on the table and measure it exactly and then I thought that I did the math of all the blocks, but I was like, one of them was too short, and then I had to recut the strips, and then it was way too long. Anyway, it was crazy. I was probably because it was middle of the night. But
is
anyway,
that why you were up all night?
Yeah. I just I wanted to get this done, and it was important to me, and so
was your sewing machine shocked that you looked at it?
Yeah. and my sock machine was like, you're pushing me over. Anyway, but yeah, no. So it was just stupid mistakes, stupid middle of the night mistakes.
That comment was because Naomi used to, not very long ago, quilt all the time.
Yeah.
And now she's knitting all the time, so she's not quilting as much.
and my circular sock machine is on. But all of it has to get put away because Mary Lou's coming. So I got to clean that room. But anyway, so this came out much better than I expected. And I had the ideas of the little cornerstones, and I bought the green. So I found the sunflower fabric in like a fat quarter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to fussy cut it. So I fussy cut the cornerstones.
I love it. It looks so cute.
And then I found this, and Eli helped me find this green that really matched the leaves on the sunflowers. Mm-hmm. And I had the vision of it, and I wasn't sure with all the t-shirt colors and everything, but I think it really unifies it.
I think it looks good.
Especially like with the butterflies and and the southwestern one.
And I know Rachel's favorite color is green, and I know she loves sunflowers, so I hope I hit a home run with that. And it just unifies because they're all different, so it just unifies it, I think, and yeah. So I'm happy with it. I wish I had maybe planned a little better. I was like, and made the blocks like a little bit bigger because I know like the Baltimore Ravens is cut off, but you get the point. So but all the t-shirt images were all different sizes, so it was difficult to find a common denominator that would work, and so it's just a little lap quilt, but I think it's nice. I'm proud of it, and I hope she likes it. So I'm showing it to you now because she's going to get it tonight and before this video airs, so I'm not spoiling any. Woo, knocking my knitting down. I'm not spoiling any surprises. So there's that. And then what else? I think that's it. That's really all I did. All week I've been working on this little sweater. It's going faster now that I've joined in the round and going on the pattern. So anyway, I think that is me. I think I'm done. Oh, and be careful when you iron some t-shirts because you might melt it. Oh, I melted it a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I have one of those.
I feel bad. Well, I know, and I was just ironing when I put the sashing on, and I was like, oh, because I had been using a cloth and all that, but so.
I have one of those little pillows that I made some time ago.
That's my mistake.
That I put lace in the front, and I was trying to iron and I kind of melted the lace. Yeah.
Okay, let me just mark where I am here, just a second, because.
And I really made a mess of this here. What did I do? Okay. Wait.
Sorry.
We have a saying in our family. Wait, let me put on my glasses.
Yeah, that was your saying when you were little.
No, it was.
No, it was some cousin.
Our cousin.
Oh, I
yeah.
One of Uncle Dan's kids. Anyway, so I have not done a lot of work on my 2 WIP-GO projects. I have worked on them, but I have not done a lot of work on them because I was working on this. This is Stitch and Mommy's Temperature Turtles, and when I first was going around the top of the turtle up here, I thought I counted the right number of stitches, and of course I didn't, because I never do. And I started going around the bottom here.
Even if you ever counted a pattern correctly, I would be shocked.
Me too. Me too.
Just saying,
I would
I'm
be
just
very
saying.
shocked. So I had put on the tail. I had put on this leg, which was fine. Not actually. I had put on this fin and the head, and I was all the way back up to the tail. And I said, why isn't that fitting?
Oh no.
It was because I was 1 stitch short up here. And I was like, well, I could fudge it. But then I'd have to fudge all the rest of them the same way.
All the other turtles for the rest of the year?
Yeah. And as I'm discovering with this cat, you can never remember where you fudged it. So I had to take out all of the fins and head over here. And I had to take out from here all the way around. It was just the edge, just this little edge. All the way around up to here. And then do it right. Mm-hmm. But then I had to catch up with the days that I hadn't done yet. But now it is finally caught up to last night. And it has been virtually the same temperature all month.
Welcome to Arizona.
However, I was looking at it and going, this turtle is sad and yellow. And I'm looking at the colors here, which seems like there's a lot of colors. My colors for the year start here. Mm. Does that tell you how many colors those turtles are going to be? Like none.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so now that I have the turtle almost done, I'm like, this is really making me sad, you know? And so I looked at this, sorry, threads. I looked at this one, and I mean, look at the variety of colors on this one.
Yeah. Is it smaller increments of temperature?
It could be because of how I adjusted it. Remember, I adjusted the pattern?
Yeah.
But all of these colors up here in the first row are virtually the same temperatures that I've been stitching now. And I am very tempted to use the color chart on this one. And that would mean having to
Take everything out.
Undo the whole chart.
having to start over. I wouldn't do that. I'm just like, do I have enough of this fabric to start over?
Oh, because if you don't like it, you don't want to not like it the whole year.
I don't want to not, because then the ones in the summer will all be red.
Yeah.
And now this temperature chart goes, you know, it goes up to 110 degrees and above.
That's like every day.
But this is such a limited number of colors.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm what do you guys think? Because this makes me sad.
Could you stitch over the stitches that you do?
I'm not going to stitch over it.
I think it would look weird.
So
you could leave January the way it is, and then do the rest of the year. You know.
In contrast, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 colors here.
For cold?
No, I mean from that same temperature that we've had, it starts in the blues and greens, right? And I don't know if it's just there's a wider range.
Yeah, maybe it's a wider. Like how many degrees is each one? Is it 10 degrees? Huh? Is it 10 degrees or 20 degrees or what is it?
Well, this says 5 degrees, but
maybe the colors are too close together. Maybe that's also
maybe that might be it. And I understand that she may have been wanting to make the turtles look more like turtles.
Yeah.
But to me, the blues and the greens look like turtles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm like
the chart, that one.
I'm feeling like, because I look at this turtle and you can't tell how many different days there are.
Yeah.
Because most of them are the same color.
Mm-hmm. And you don't do back stitching on them, or you do?
Yeah, you do back stitching to do the turtles.
But that'd be so hard to even find where to put the back stitch. Like.
Yeah.
Most of it is 2 different threads. And when I look at this one, that does not look like 2 different threads. And it's virtually the same temperatures.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, should I go by these colors? Yeah. I think I will be happier.
Yeah, I think you should.
I'm like, oh my God, do I need to start this whole thing again? Do I have enough fabric? And I might, but I don't think so. So I might have to take out the whole thing again. But
can you leave you can leave his fins and everything in there.
Yeah, I can leave his fins and stuff. But I don't want to finish him and he's all yellow. And then I have the same thing. And the ones from the summer will be
more varied. They'll be all, because well, and
two different colors on each turtle.
Yeah, because once you're like 96 to 102, 103 to 109, and 110 plus, that's like every single day, and the 3 reds are like that.
They're very close together, and and these colors. Part of it is I can't. There are 3 different colors there, but it's very difficult to tell.
Yeah.
Like I said, most of them are the same color. Now, granted, these don't touch each other. Okay? They don't touch each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can tell which one's a day and which not. And there will be back stitching so that you can tell.
Right.
But it took me a long time to pick a different temperature chart. And if this is something I'm going to stitch on all year, I don't want to look at it and go, but I want it to look more colorful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of this, I did finish.
Oh, you finished
I finished this row here. I know that's not a lot, okay, but you know I'm busy.
You finished
And
the
started-
bottom border.
I finished the top border here of the bottom,
I see.
and I started down here. So I'm
fine.
just I don't know. I
It's sad. You don't want to be disappointed all year.
Yeah.
and you know I knew that as I was stitching it, but you know those are the colors that it was, and now that I have all the colors that are in there, I'm deciding not to use them.
Right.
But honestly, I think I'll be happier.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
and your turtle a little bit.
well, they'll look more colorful.
Yeah.
And most people in most climates, they're going to have some of these beautiful dark colors in some of the turtles. And this says extreme, and some of these are -10. So maybe this is extreme down to cold and extreme up to high. Maybe I should have used a different color key. But I don't know. I'm just sad. Because it was so much work. I spent so much time this week fixing the turtle and getting it all caught up and all that, and now I'm like looking at it going, that's a yellow turtle. You know?
Yeah.
And it's not that there aren't yellows in this. There are plenty of yellows.
Yeah.
But
It's so varied.
yellows, yeah. Each month there are so many different colors, and granted, it has been temperate temperatures
I mean,
this
yeah.
this month, but I looked at it and it's virtually the same range of numbers. So
Yeah, I think I would change it because you don't want to be miserable all year.
no,
And you know what'll happen is you'll just give up on it. You won't
I'll
enjoy
just
it.
stop doing it. Yeah, because I picked this beautiful watery looking fabric, and I was even saying, you know, I could take some of the blues that are down here and stitch little water lines.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you know, I was like wanting to make it look more turtley,
yeah.
sea turtles. And I have no problem with the design. I think it's cute. It's just once the temperature started going in there,
Sure.
I was sad. And like I said, if somebody lived in a climate where it actually got cold, you know,
Well, especially like if that's a high temperature, like some of our lows are pretty low, but our highs always kind of bounce up to.
there was one day when the low and the high were the same.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Those days when you're like, it's gonna be the same temperature all day. I'm cold.
So
Okay.
see, because when you look at this, look, it's all different. And that's kind of what I want it to look like. It's all
I
different.
think you need to move.
Huh?
I think you need to move
Live
for it to look like that.
No, I don't want this.
I was gonna say. I
I don't want that. I could adjust it to where 60 degrees is down here. No. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to use this temperature chart.
Yeah.
Adjusted the way I did it. Because
Yeah.
I'm sad. Okay, enough of that. And I'm still needing to finish this one, but I didn't have time to work on that one. I was too busy working on the turtle. So, project I'm working on right now is what I call Art Deco Cat, which is you can't even see it from that far away, and it's so wrinkly. Called Black Cat by Cross Stitching for Fun, and I'm doing it in 2 different variegated DMC threads. The pattern is this one, and they very kindly flipped it for me because I wanted to do 2 cats.
So is this one done?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, somewhere in here, I fudged it. This is why I'm saying I don't want to fudge that turtle. Okay? Somewhere in here, I fudged it. So that's why you saw me concentrating very heavily. That's because I need to make sure that they are coming out the same
height and all that.
yeah, that wherever I made a difference, it needs to be the same everywhere. So that is what's going on there. And then my other WIP-GO call is Stormtrooper, Disney. It's a Star Wars kit, and I've done some work on it. This thread is sticking to everything. I've done some work on it. You can see a big difference in the face. I saw somebody post, I don't remember if it was on WIP-GO, but it might have been, a completed one of this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it looks so cool. I was like, oh, that's not me. But like I said, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to on either of these because, and I probably won't this coming week
You were
either
fighting
because I
with the
need to
turtle.
do the turtle.
We were fighting with the turtle.
You remember I said I couldn't find the thread?
Uh-huh.
You know why I couldn't find the thread?
Because you didn't have it?
No, I haven't. I looked and I was like, I used that earlier this month. Where is it? On the turtle. It was in the bag, but it was with the threads from last year instead of in the little thing I have for the threads for this year. But now they're going to be the same if I do that. I don't know. That's a lot of work to redo that turtle, but
You'll be happier.
I will. Okay, so that is that. And then, oh, I didn't show you that's the printout of the pattern. Now, my WIP-GO pulls, I had to look at it and go, my board, my rules. Because one was, and to all a good night. And the other one was another Christmas one. Oh, Christmas lantern.
Oh.
And while I really, really, really like those patterns and want to work on them this year, which is why they're in WIP-GO, I don't want to work on them in February. They're Christmas patterns. I don't want to work on them in February. And so I looked at what else was on WIP-GO, and I picked 2 that I could work on instead of those, and I'll just switch them in my board. So I decided to work some more on, this is not the right thing. I think I have it in that bag. I think I just took out the wrong thing. Winterful Friends, which is by Silver Creek Samplers. I'm not very far along on this. Now, I have the line of snow here, so right about there is where the pattern ends, right about here.
That's cute.
When I saw that out of the corner of my eye when you in your pile there, I thought, is that a pattern that I have? Because I have a Silver
I
Creek
was going to say,
Samplers.
that looks like a pattern that Beth does.
Yeah,
all the time.
I have one called Give Greatly that has a snowman like this, almost exact same snowman, but there's a bunny giving him a carrot for his nose.
Aw.
But it looks very much like that. It's like, is that my pattern that I have?
Did you take my pattern? Did you do my thing?
I thought, do Eve and I have the same pattern? It's not, but it's not.
Okay, and the other one, I don't have a paper picture for. I used to. I don't know where it is. And at some point when I was doing my WIP-GO WIP parade earlier this month, I downloaded it to the iPad, so it should be there. But it might not be. If not, I'll download it again. Okay, so rabbits, carrots, and eggs. Now, the pattern does not look like this. And I may not do the bottom row of, I don't know, I think there's eggs down here. I have another, I think I have one more carrot and some bunnies. But the colors were very, 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 very light. Very pale. And I did rabbits at the cafe, and they were very, very light like that, and I had some of the same issues, and I was like, this is Easter. They're supposed to be bright, colorful eggs, not white. So I just picked colors and made the eggs different colors.
Yeah.
So, I think I have that pattern, rabbits, carrots, and eggs. I have like some.
She might have purchased this because I remember telling her
we have something.
I have that.
Yeah,
it might be this one, but I downloaded it onto this tablet, and so when I was looking through my other electronic devices, I don't have it there. So I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to print it, and I didn't have this charged, so I was like, oh, I'll print it later. So I haven't done it. But, so I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to work on, on this, Wonderful Friends, and then, of course, Mooseberry, Chris Mooseberry for Cross Stitch Camp. Because even if I don't get it done, I'll get it started. And I like it. All right. So that is me. That's it.
Yeah. That's you?
Mm-hmm. Nothing interesting happened to me all week.
And cut. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, gosh. I don't know.
You know what? If something interesting happened to me this week,
you forgot about it.
I can't remember because I just, there is something that I remember telling Beth, you know, that's something we can talk about on Saturday. Don't remember what it was. Don't remember.
Sometimes I take notes in my phone because I'm like, I forgot to tell everybody about blah, blah, blah.
That's what I was thinking about. I thought there was something that I thought about, and I can't remember now.
Yeah.
So I had an appointment with a doctor that is at least half an hour away. And they had, last time I saw him, they had called me to ask me to come earlier. And I had to run from one appointment to another, so I didn't eat in between. And I arrived there right at the appointment time, that the earlier one. And I sat in the lobby until way past the time of the
original one.
Original one.
Oh no!
And I was so hungry, right? So I had another appointment with them. So I made sure to eat before I got there. And I got into the office almost exactly when the appointment was. I waited in there maybe 5 minutes. I talked to him for 2 or 3 minutes, and I left.
And you're like, I didn't have to eat. I could have eaten after.
I could have eaten for free at home.
No matter what you do, they're going to mess you up.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. I have had a week. Oh, I've been cutting. Remember the fabric I showed you last week?
Oh, yeah.
The
Valentine.
The Valentine?
Yeah. And I was cutting that and cutting that and cutting it. And I've cut out 3 of the regular big bags and 1 of the bags that the quilt, you remember like the ones you made us? Those quilted bags?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I cut out one of those.
Oh, cool.
I was going to do 2, but I was tired.
I keep thinking about the whole master hand knitting thing. I was like, I need to like slow down, sit down, and like work on my report first, and then I can start knitting. But then I got distracted by this. I'm like, oh no. But
yeah. So that is the only interesting thing that happened to me. I actually, so I probably mentioned before that there is an asthma medicine that I take daily, actually twice a day, so that I can breathe. And the company that makes this, the name brand, stopped making it. It's been discontinued, which the pharmacy didn't tell me about until I'm calling them. This was sometime in December, going, where's my medicine? And my insurance wouldn't cover the generic medicine.
that's crazy.
Which they can only get in small shipments, right? And so I called the pulmonologist, and nothing ever came of it. So I called the insurance company, and they told me, well, in order to get that medication in the generic form, you have to call in a pre-authorization to the insurance company. Holy cow. I thought that was probably too much trouble. So I said, look, I mentioned about the pre-auth, right? But I said, just prescribe something else.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm waiting. Now, fortunately, I dug through and I found an inhaler of a similar type that sometimes the pharmacy would like renew it without my asking, and I would have a whole bunch of the same product.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Right.
And I found one. It was out of date, but it was a similar product. And honestly, I should have thrown it away. Right. But I've been using that since sometime in December.
Uh-huh.
And I had called all these people in between. And so this week I called, and I called the pulmonologist. I need that medication. I only have a couple of days left. I need it. And I said, I understand if she does not want to prescribe something new because she doesn't have me in the office, which they don't have any room for me to go in the office, or I'd go, right? I get it. I get it. But the insurance says I need a pre-auth on that. And otherwise the pharmacy cannot fill it for me.
Right. So
she got on with, the person that answered the phone, got on with the PA or something for my doctor.
Uh-huh.
And she said, oh, I misunderstood when I talked to the insurance company before. And she had sent a prescription for the medication in December for the generic one in December, but it hadn't gone through because the insurance wouldn't pay for it. So she did that, and I got it like the next day.
It's like, crazy.
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
But, that's kind of how it is when you work with insurance companies, trying to get them to...
It's such a huge machine.
Well, yeah, like the reason I was at that doctor's, he wanted to do something, and the insurance denied it because I hadn't tried this drug, that drug, and the other drug. I'm allergic to a great many drugs, so I don't like to bounce through drugs just because.
Yeah.
But he said, look, it's all in the way I write it. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
It's all in the way I write it. And we need to try at least one more of these medications.
Uh-huh.
And he said he would send them through. Pharmacy hasn't called me yet, so I don't know if he has or not.
Right.
I know that the two for the same thing. One of them worked, but they wouldn't authorize it. I just got samples. The insurance company wouldn't authorize it, and the other one gave me dry mouth in the worst way. Right, so. But that was all I had to talk. I'm like, you could have said that on the phone.
Then they can't bill you for a visit. Update on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, on Monday, I went to see the hand specialist and it was a PA, but she was really nice. And she's like, yeah, you got trigger finger. She goes, we could do an injection and it'll either cure it or it might come back. And if it comes back twice, then we'll do surgery. And she was like, so do you want to do the injection? And I was like, right now, okay. And yeah, so I got a little injection right here, and actually it really helped. I still feel the catch in there, so it probably will come back, but for right now, finger is happy and hand is happy, so that's been good.
So the first time I had an injection like that, I was much younger, and I had one in the arch of my foot.
Uh-huh.
It's quite painful.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like the clouds come, part.
Yeah. I mean, that day, because I was like, I always have the thought, like...
Mm-hmm. And so then I've had...
People I love have endured way more, so
yeah.
I'm like, I can handle
So
a
then
little
I've
stick.
had injections like that more than once in my shoulder. Several times in my knee.
Yeah, I was thinking about you, and I was
3
like...
times in my heel.
I'm like, oh, you've done this a million times. I guess I can't
like,
be a big baby.
But the worst part of it is that it shoots up your blood pressure, your blood sugars.
Yeah. Well, the
And
worst
so
part
you
of it
have
was
to-
that it hurt like heck.
Yeah, it does hurt, but only for
I was
for a
sitting
short
there, I'm
time.
like, I can't watch any of this. And she's like, that's fine. And then, she, first of all, she froze, like they
Sprayed
did
it
the
with that.
spray freeze. And I'm like, that hurt. And then she stuck the needle in, and that hurt. And then, and she said, she told me this, and I was like, I wish you hadn't told me, because I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. But she's like, I'm going to put in the lidocaine, and I'm going to leave the needle in. And she goes, I have 2 syringes here. I'm not going to stick you twice. I'm going to leave the needle in and change it to the steroid, and then so that it's not going through your skin and it's going directly into the space. And I was like, I wish you had told me that. So I'm like, just do it, because I don't want to see a needle just hanging out while you're moving her. Anyway, so she did that, and it just felt like, someone had put a rock in my hand, and I'm sitting there going, are you done? She's like, yeah, we're all done. I'm like, oh, okay.
So the only thing that it was different was when I had those gel injections in my knee. And the first time, I swear they must have heard me in the waiting room screaming, because it was extremely painful.
They're like, oh, here comes the screamer.
Well, when I guess it was either when I was in college or I think after I got out of graduate school, I think. That I was at home, and we had these little scrubby plum trees at our house, and that we had planted once upon a time, but they were very kind of bushy, whatever. But anyway, so I was, when I was home during those times, I did like some yard work, whatever. But so this little tree, one of the trees, I had a little saw that was like a pistol grip little, I don't know what you call those saws, but it had a little tiny blade like this. And so, I was like trimming this plum tree, and but because it had branches like sticking out everywhere, when I did this, I hit my this joint on my finger right on one of those branches, and so it poked me right, and then my finger got all swollen up. So I went to the doctor, and he was looking at it. So yeah, you've got, I don't remember if it was like it was, if he just like said it was like inflamed, you know, from hitting, you know, whatever. But so he gave me a little injection, and he said, you know, it was, you know, gonna be okay. So he went to inject it, and I could see a little bubble going bloop up my finger. And he goes, "Oh yeah, look, it's going up the tendon sheath or something." I was like,
I can't watch that stuff.
I am not afraid of needles at all.
Neither am I.
But I will not watch what they do.
But
I can't watch blood work. I just can't. Like Eli loves to watch. I can't watch it. I have to just do it. Whatever. I just don't want to watch it.
The only time one time I remember when I was in Little Rock, I had a kind of a problem with my elbow. And the doctor was saying it was similar to like what they used to call tennis elbow, but because he kept asking me, well, did you hit your arm? Did you do this? And I'm like, no. It was just like I gotten to where like at my office in those days, we had like a swinging door. You know, it didn't latch. It was just a, you know, push door or whatever. And like when I extended my arm this way to push, it would hurt in my elbow. And also I found that like I couldn't like picking up anything with weight, you know, if my arm was extended like this, it would hurt. If I had my elbow bent, I could do it.
Right.
You know, but like I couldn't pick up a gallon of milk, whatever. And it got to the point where I couldn't even pick up like a can of soda with my arm extended like that. I had to bend my elbow, and those doors, if I kept my arm bent, I could push on the door, but I couldn't push it like this, you know. And so eventually, you know, so it was my right elbow was hurting. And so I think that at first they just prescribed me like naproxen or something. And so I remember I called the doctor's office and I said, "Is it okay to take ibuprofen with it?" Because it really hurts. And they're saying, "Yeah, you shouldn't still hurt." And so I went back into the doctor and he says, "Well, that's not really working. So we're going to go ahead and do an injection." And so we were talking, blah, blah, blah. And he's, you know, preparing the thing. And of course it was like, you know, with it doesn't hurt at first, and then like whatever they put in it expands, and it hurts a lot, and then eventually, you know. But so he was, you know, starting to put it in there, and we were talking, blah blah blah, and then he, you know, because he's like having to get the needle in the right place, whatever. After a while, it was like really hurting, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop talking now.
That's out.
Yeah, and then but then, you know, after a few days, whatever, it was fine. It was fine. But then about, I don't know, a couple months later, it was going on with my left elbow. And so when I made an appointment, went to see him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, the pills didn't work for you, so let's just go ahead and do the injection right away." So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I don't know. I couldn't remember what it was that they...
It's probably cortisone.
Yeah. That's... Yeah. And...
Yeah, when I had, right about the time that I had the one in the shoulder, the most recent time, this shoulder has gone through a lot. When I worked for McDonald's, I was taking something out to somebody waiting for it, and it was the maintenance guy, it was still early morning, and the maintenance guy had sprayed water all over the parking lot, and it froze. It froze on the parking lot, and so it just looked wet. And I went to take it out to him, and I slipped on the ice and fell, and I had put my hand down like that, and my hand hit so hard that my shoulder bruised up here.
Ooh, yuck.
And the pain from that kind of went away, but then, you know, I've had issues with my shoulder since then. It didn't help when I fell out of the van. So...
You're a mess.
I am. And so if I can hurt myself, I will hurt myself.
Oh my gosh.
Not on purpose. Anyway, I finally went to have somebody do something with my shoulder because I kept losing grip on things that I was holding. Like you said about like trying to pick stuff up. I could pick it up fine, but then all of a sudden it would just
fall out of your hand.
And I'm like, I'm going to be picking up something important, and it's going to, go everywhere. So I had those injections in my shoulder. Well, it was one, and then later on another one. But I was thinking the other day, my shoulder is starting to hurt again. Please, no, I've had enough injections for a while. Yeah, we're getting old. All we want to talk about is our age.
I was gonna say, is this a crafting channel?
It's like, Lyndon Johnson, like trying to show off his what do you call it, gallbladder scar?
I don't know.
Who? Lyndon Johnson, President Johnson.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was. It's just I didn't see it. I was too young probably, but it was something that I've read about. But yeah, when I was gonna say one time I fell on my bike. I had to stop suddenly, and I had my feet. I had toe clips, and I didn't get I stopped suddenly more that I wasn't planning on it, and so I didn't have my foot out of the toe clip soon enough. And so I just fell over. Like those of you who are old enough might
Artie
remember.
Johnson style?
Yeah, on Laugh-In, Artie Johnson would they had little shorts, he'd be riding a tricycle and then he would just go boink, and that's almost how I fell. But when I fell, I guess I fell, I don't remember, I think on the right side. Yeah, I fell to the right. And I put my elbow down, and that's a good way to break your shoulder blade, your collarbone. Fortunately, I wasn't going fast enough to, or falling hard enough to do that. But I landed, with my arm like this, and I kind of scraped at my elbow. But I realized where I really felt it was in my shoulder, because I just like crammed my shoulder up, and and I don't remember. Yeah, that I think when I went to I went to the doctor for that, and ended up like, at first the doctor's like, well, you didn't, he was kind of downplaying it, and then the more he thought it through, I guess, the more he thought, I said, I'm gonna give you a bandage, because like I like bruised the bone or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I when I was at the doctor's office, they had all those pictures of all the hands and tendons, and talking about carpal tunnel and like what can cause it, and there's like lifestyle, and it was like sawing and typing, and then there was a little picture of knitting needles, and I was like, no, I don't care. I'm not going to stop knitting. And don't.
Well, see, and that's the thing.
Well, I told the doctor, I was like, I knit a lot, and I'm not going to stop knitting, so I need to fix this. And she's like, yeah. And I play bassoon, so I'm like, I need my hands. She's like, yeah.
So a lot of crafters get repetitive motion injuries.
Well, I was telling
Chelsea on Stitching with the Housewives. She said her hands were hurting because they stitch a lot, both of them, right? And her hands were hurting, and I think she must grip really tight because
she's always bending needles, and
she's constantly. Yeah, so she started using a Q-snap, but just using the top and side, so she has something fatter to hold on to.
Yeah,
but. And your elbows when you're working with cross stitch and stuff like that, and
I was telling the doctor, I said I knit a lot, but I never get, my hands don't fall asleep from knitting. If I knit in the morning, my hands are already asleep. It gets worse. But I said, but if I knit for an hour, I don't have pain or numbness or anything like that. My hands are pretty relaxed when I knit, and I'm like, and I'm not going to stop. So don't tell me, oh, you just have to stop knitting.
What I found in working with this, this is 8 o'clock that came in the kit, and I don't have a problem, really with 8 o'clock, but it's very stiff, and the holes are kind of tight, and I find myself having to like really grip the needle to push it through the fabric, and it makes I get numbness in my hand from working on it, for any length of time.
You get like little rubber.
I have
some
rubber
quilting
things.
gloves that, like, when I've done hand hemming, that's like that, where the, like, if it's a really thick fabric or whatever, I use my quilting gloves because they have rubber tips, and then I can grab and that kind of thing.
Well, at
but yeah, I can't imagine. I think fighting with a little needle like that all day might make my hands hurt more than this. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was getting, and I call it knitter's elbow, because I sit in my chair and I knit, and I have this little there was a little kit at CVS. It was a Mandalorian blanket and a pillow, a little Baby Yoda head, Grogu head. It's a little Grogu pillow. It's like this big. And it came with a tiny little blanket, and I just bought it for, I don't even know what a blanket is now, but anyway. But I used that little pillow, it's like almost destroyed, under my elbow. And for some reason that little extra padding, even though I'm sitting in a cushy armchair, that little extra padding helps. And it's been gone from my chair for a while. It's like across the room, and I just too lazy to go figure out and get it. But my elbow started to, like, you know how you have that, like, because like you're just leaning on something too long, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time.
I need my Baby Yoda pillow.
Okay, so tonight we're gonna have a craft night and other stuff, and we're gonna paint. And so I tried to come up with an easy enough drawing that people could draw it themselves.
It remains to be seen.
No, you can draw it. So
remains to be seen.
The painting part is the part that's hard. So we're gonna do this little.
I'm making Eve do a painting class for us.
Yeah, and we are
cute.
They're all gonna use.
Fun.
Yeah. So these are not exactly the same colors that are in there.
It's okay.
I tried to find the same colors, and I was like, yeah, I'm not finding it. So. Anyway, so we're going to try to see, and then I'm going to take a picture of everybody's and see what they look like.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. So.
It will be fun.
It's easier than you think. It's just,
circles.
That's why I drew it first. That's why I sketched it out first, and then was looking to see how I can simplify
Beth's going to be like, how many leaves? Where do I put the leaves?
The branches are the easiest
1,
thing.
2, 3.
Anyway.
1, 2, 3. Actually, we better go because I gotta get ready for that sit party.
Yeah. And I'm busy making more mistakes on this, so I might as well stop.
It takes a really long time to get around one of these rounds. I started a round when we sat down. No, I guess I finished one while we were talking, but I'm still only halfway. Here's the beginning of the round. So this sweater's, somebody asked me at work today, how long do you think that's going to take you? I'm like, I don't know.
Till May.
Days.
Some of it, well, yeah, it's supposed to be till May, but it might be later. Oh, no, okay, I have one story from my commute. Yesterday morning, Eli and I are on the freeway, and we're driving along, and, it's a rhythm of every single day we're on the freeway in the same place, and we were kind of going under an underpass, and all of a sudden, so I'm in the HOV lane, the high occupancy vehicles, far left, and I hear coming up behind me, I hear the most horrible sound.
Yeah.
It's like, it's an engine that something sounds like that. And I'm driving. I look in my mirror. I don't see anything out of the ordinary, and I'm asking you, like, what's happening? What is that? What is that? I mean, it terrified me. It was the loudest, most, like, it sounded like my imagination was like, it's a semi that is out of control or or blowing up or burning. You know, I don't know. Or it's, I don't know, an airplane landing. I mean, it was a terrifying sound. And it's just, and I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? And Eli's looking in the mirror and he's looking around and like, I don't know. And then it was a pickup truck, a regular sized pickup truck, flies by and then gets like, passes me and then gets into the HOV lane and then just keeps going like that. I don't know. I'm like, what is wrong with your vehicle? Like, it did not sound like any normal passenger vehicle I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, why does your car sound like that? And also, that was terrible. I mean, it scared me to death. I hate that feeling.
I saw something about, I want to say it was I-10 and I don't know, but it was like part of the freeway. But they were showing like it was all was all blocked off or something because I don't know if there was an accident or something. I could barely see, you know.
There was something big on the way home yesterday, but this was on the way in, and I was just like, what? I'm still to this day like thinking about that car. Like, what was wrong with that it sounded like that? It didn't even sound like a souped up engine. Yeah. But obviously, this person was enjoying it.
I don't know why I'm coughing.
Flying down there.
Sorry.
But anyway, that was my crazy story for my commute this week. But we're going to have to run, and we will see you next week when it will be February, right?
It'll be February, like in the middle of this week, this coming week. So Monday is the 29th. Tuesday, Wednesday is end of January.
Oh, we're getting there. Well, thanks so much for spending January with us. Eve is trying to breathe.
All of a sudden, I'm just like coughing, and I don't know why.
Well, we better go. Yeah. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
Bye. Bye.